everybody, and welcome to the Maurice Brown Comedy Show NFL edition on Bog Radio in association with 24 Flicks. And we're going to bring out our special guest today, one of our usual suspects from Port St. Lucie, Florida, Nephew, Khalil Lopes. What's up, Caleb? What's happening, brother?
What's up, Maurice? What's up, y'all?
Everything is going really well. We're going to be joined later on by Antoine A.S. Stewart and the brother of Khalil Mack, Sandy Mack, is going to join us. That's right, the brother of Khalil Mack, the all-pro defensive end for the LA Chargers. His brother will be joining us very shortly. Aaron Too Tall Moore not able to join us today. And as I speak, we're being joined right now by Antoine A.S. Stewart. What's up, Stu?
What's going on, man? What's up, Caleb?
What's up, Stu?
Well, right. Stu, I'll tell you what, we had an exciting day in the NFL on Sunday, and we're going to break this thing down. Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday morning to everybody out there. We're going to be joined by Khalil Mack's brother, Sandy, in a moment or two. Aaron Too Tall Moore is not going to be with us today, but I do want to talk about the matchups on Sunday. Just get right to the quick. Matter of fact, let's go all the way back to Thursday night to kick off Week 13. Dallas defeating the Seahawks in Dallas, 45 to 31. I'm sorry, 41 to 35. Your thoughts on this game, Stu?
Oh yeah, it was a good game. It was a game that I thought the Seahawks had a chance to win. Dallas made more plays in the end and played a more complete game, but the Seahawks were right in there battling toe to toe, and just wondered that Dallas ended up, getting the best of the Seahawks in the end. But it was definitely a great hard fought game, and it was one that Dallas didn't dominate, but they did enough to win.
Caleb, your thoughts?
No, yeah. Good game, high-scoring game. Both teams played good football. But as Stu said, the Cowboys got a little bit of an edge on them at the end. They came out with the win. But good game. Props to the Cowboys for getting the Thursday night dub.
Well, you got to give props to the Dallas Cowboys for winning it 41 to 35. It did bring out some concerns. If you're a Cowboy fan and if you are a realistic Cowboy fan, which is not easy. But honestly, you got to look at the Cowboys defense. They were run over by a mediocre team. And they were in their own house and they were getting run over by the Seattle Seahawks. To Dak Prescott's credit, he was able to maintain pace with that offense and get 41 points on the board. He's running more often, but it was a mediocre team. And the Dallas Cowboys, to me, are not passing the eye test when it comes to being a champion of the league. They look good, but they've got some things to think about. That was a win, but that was just not a pretty win. And so they've got the Eagles next week, who's going to be angry after getting whipped by your boys, the 49ers. We're really going to find out, because everybody said about Dak Prescott being the MVP of the year, and he's got the numbers, don't get me wrong. The winning percentages of the teams that they've beaten, not that good. So we're going to find out where they really are next week against the Eagles. But we're going to talk more about the 49ers a little bit later, But let's continue with Week 13's final results. The Colts 31-28 over the Titans. The Chargers in an ugly win. I mean, it couldn't get any uglier. 6-0 over the Patriots. The Lions 33-28 over the Saints. The Falcons 13-8 over the New York Jets. Robert Saleh is now saying he has to look at a fourth quarterback. Okay. So, I mean, what are we going to the Water Boy next? I mean, what's the deal in New York, Stu?
It's one of those things where with any team, when the number one quarterback goes out and then your backup is not that good, I mean, the season's basically a wash. Now, everybody's kind of hoping to see if Aaron comes back. You know, a lot of people have their thoughts about that. Some people don't think he's going to be able to come back this year. The way it is looking is probably best if he holds out until next year. I don't think the Jets are going to make the playoffs, so it's nothing for him to come back to. But it's just one of those situations, like if Patrick Mahomes or if any star quarterback goes down, if Josh Allen goes down, if Lamar Jackson goes down, I mean, you may have a decent backup that can win a few games, but realistically, for most people, with the exception of the year that the Philadelphia Eagles did it with a backup and won the Super Bowl, it usually doesn't happen. And it's just one of those cases. You build a team around Aaron Rodgers, and with the high hopes of him being able to play throughout the season, he gets hurt week 1. So it's one of those things where it's just like, hopefully next year they can bounce back.
So, Caleb, we started out with Aaron Rodgers, who gets hurt on the 4th play of the first game of the year. Then we go to Zach Wilson, and they suffered about 5-6 weeks with Zach. And then they went to Corporal Boyle, Corporal Boyle's grandson. Corporal Boyle, ladies and gentlemen, of the Gomer Pyle 1960 comedy. Anyway, and now we're on the 4th quarterback. They're thinking about a 4th. What's the deal with the Jets and this quarterback situation, Caleb?
I mean, I don't even know who they're going to put in at this point. I mean, you were saying the water boy, that's a valid option for them right now. But, I mean, I've been hearing a lot of talk of Aaron Rodgers coming back, maybe even next week in 2 weeks. And I don't think it's a good idea for him. Like you said, Stu, it's not like him coming back is going to make them get into the playoffs. They have a horrible record, and there's nothing really to come back to. So I think he should wait it out. The Jets are going to put someone in as a 4th string quarterback because nothing has been working. But, I mean, there's not much to say about them. They're just really bad, and they haven't been able to do anything since because of the injury to Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, well, hey, Waterboy, come over here and pitch me a few. Let's see what you got there, buddy. Anyway, it's bad. It's really bad with the Jets, and they didn't have a plan B. As I've said before, you went into the season expecting Aaron Rodgers to be your guy, and Zach Wilson would be the understudy. An understudy that's never going to be an NFL quarterback at this. I mean, let's be honest. He's not an NFL quarterback. He's a backup for somebody. And so the Jets did not prepare for a disaster, which actually did occur. The Cardinals, 24-10 over Pittsburgh. The Dolphins crush the Washington Commanders, 45-15, which may be part of the reason Aaron Too Tall did not show up today. I mean, I don't know how you hold your head up if you're a Commander fan, dude, after a smashing and thrashing like that in your own crib, 45-15. It looks like the Commanders have mailed it in, to be totally honest with you. But we're going to talk more about that a little bit later. The Texans, 22-17 over the Broncos. Stu, what does this win mean for the Houston Texans?
I think it means what we've been thinking all year round, man. They're emerging as a team, as a playoff team. If we can be quite honest,
yeah,
who knows? I don't think they're going to make it that far, but they're a team that, if you see, I mean, they only have to beat you once to advance in the playoffs in the postseason. And heads off to the head coach, getting them guys ready, man. Doing a great job in selecting his quarterback and putting him in the best possible position to succeed. The defense has been playing decent enough to keep them in games, and they won a tight one, at home against a Denver team that was coming on a little hot streak, and they got it done at 7-5. So definitely shouts out to Houston Texans and the team.
Caleb, your thoughts on C.J. Stroud and the Houston Texans?
Oh yeah, definitely. They're looking like contenders. I mean, real playoff contenders. I wouldn't want to see them in the first or second round of the playoffs. They're real hot right now. CJ Stroud has been balling out like he has been all season. And like you said, they're looking like a nice, good all around team playing good football on all three sides of the ball: special teams, defense, offense, and uh, they're playing real good football, and you have to give them take your hats off to that.
You do. And we continue on with week 13's final results. The Buccaneers 21-18 over the Panthers. The Panthers now go to 1-11. The Rams 36-19. Cleveland going in the wrong direction. And it's unfortunate losing Deshaun Watson. Their shot went out the window with his injury. The 49ers absolutely destroy the Philadelphia Eagles 42-19 at Lincoln Field in Philadelphia. Stu, I give you the floor, sir.
Most definitely. This is what the 49ers have been screaming about since the NFC Championship game of last year. We would have had a quarterback, that game would have played out a lot different. We put a lot of bulletin board material for the Eagles and to play in their locker room over and over again to get hyped up for this game. They were at home at the Link where it's tough to play. It was raining. It was one of those nasty type games, and we came in there to take care of business, and that's what we did. Brock Purdy balled out, throwing 4 TDs. Christian McCaffrey balled out. The Debo, wow, with balled out. Kittle and company balled out. Ayuk balled out. It was just one of those games where it was just like, my team is better than yours, and I'm going to show you in your own home field, and there's nothing you can do about it. We put up 42 points on them. And it's just one of those times where I know we're going to see this team again. So we're not too excited, not too high, not too low, but we definitely put a beat down on Philly. And I think that a reasonable person would agree that the 49ers showed that they are the best team in the league right now.
I don't think there's any question about that. Caleb, your thoughts about this matchup?
Oh yeah, I mean, your boys Stu, they're looking, they're looking scary. I mean, to beat the Eagles like that, it's really something that I didn't see coming. I thought that this game would be real close, real good game, but I mean, the 49ers came out there hot, came out there just left, right. I mean, it was real good performance by them, and I'm not gonna say that the Eagles. I think the Eagles might need to figure something out. They they have been playing these really close games. They haven't been able to blow anyone out, but they have been winning games. So I feel like the 49ers exploited that and uh, made it so that they couldn't come back on them. So I feel like the Eagles need to figure something out. Maybe put some more points on the board next time. I don't know, but props to the 49ers.
Well, props to the 49ers. And I've said it many times on this show. I think when healthy, they're the best team in the NFL, bar none. I think they're unbeatable when they're healthy. And they went in and they destroyed the best team in the NFL in their place. Slapped them around like they owned them. And they didn't kick field goals. They had 6 straight touchdowns. They didn't bother the field goal kicker. Other than he said, all right, kick the ball over there. Just kick it to them. Okay. That's all we need you for today, bro. We got this. So I mean, the 49ers just did a number on the Eagles, and there have been excuses made for the Philadelphia Eagles as to why maybe, they were not ready after playing Buffalo. They took 92 snaps in the Buffalo game, winning overtime, and they beat them. And then the 49ers were off 10 days, and they came in there and they handled their business. I'm not one for excuses.
No.
Either you're ready to play football or you're not ready to play football. Otherwise, I don't want to hear anything else. Right. And the 49ers had to take it last year. They didn't have their people, and they were summarily dismissed. And the Eagles went on to the Super Bowl. But Sunday's matchup, I mean, absolutely a dominating and convincing performance by the 49ers over the Eagles. Now, on Sunday night, the Packers, my Green Bay Packers, 27-19 over the Kansas City Chiefs. And I didn't give my boys a shot in this one. And we came out and we just took care of business. Stu, your thoughts, Packers 27-19 over the Chiefs.
It was a good game. Most definitely, I think Packers got lucky at the end with that non-PI call. I would have liked to see it, how it would have played out if it would have went in overtime. But I think the Chiefs, have been playing the same way Philly has. They've been kind of, winning by a little bit, but they're not really blowing too many teams out. But they've been, clutch usually at the end, and they just didn't get it done this time. There was no call, and that's the game. It happens. We get bad calls sometimes, but with a team like the Chiefs, you would think that they wouldn't have been in that situation against the Packers. And to the Packers are 6-6. They're 500 right now, and I think that we got to give Green Bay a little, some props for playing some good ball. I mean, I know they started out hot with a great start, and then they took some losses, and it's been a little shaky. But I think the Packers are kind of finding out themselves and building that confidence in what it's going to take as they're building their team around Jordan Love. So hats off to the Green Bay Packers, and hopefully they can keep it going.
Caleb, your thoughts?
No, yeah, the Packers, they've been playing some pretty decent football. Jordan Love, he's looked a lot better these past few weeks. I mean, and the Chiefs, there's something wrong. The Chiefs, you don't really see them lose against teams that are really inferior to them. But I mean, the Packers went out there and played a good game. They did get lucky, as he said, Stu, with a few no calls at the end there. But it is what it is. You got to play through that kind of stuff. And the Chiefs couldn't get it done. But good job to the Packers going out there and beating one of the best teams in the league.
Well, that's 3 games in a row that Green Bay has been able to win. Jordan Love in the last 3 games, 8 touchdowns, no interceptions. Last night, 25 of 36, or Sunday night, 25 of 36, 267 yards, no INTs, clean game. And over the last 3 games, I said 8 TDs, actually 10 TDs, no interceptions. So he's been playing lights out football right now. And I think the emergence of Christian Watson is really the big difference maker. When that big kid is healthy, he's like 6'5", he can run like a 4.29 40, but he's an absolute freak. So I don't know what to say at this point other than I'm pleased. I had us losing that game. I did not see this win coming. So I will take it, as they say. Let's look at the NFL headlines. And I want to start out with the LA Chargers. 6-0. They beat the Patriots. But that was about as ugly a win as you could ever imagine. You pay $262 million to a quarterback that didn't even get you a touchdown. I didn't see the cliff notes on that game. Maybe there were 2 field goals. Maybe they got a touchdown and a missed extra point, or I don't know. 6 points from a $262 million quarterback. The question is there time left for the Chargers, Stu, if they replace Brandon Staley to make a playoff
run? It's one of those things where the clock is definitely ticking. The Chargers are sitting at 5-7, and you got teams like the Texans emerging and other teams coming up the pipeline. Whatever it is, they need to find it fast. If replacing him is the answer, they need to get it done. Or else they'll just be looking at the offseason next year and trying to figure out what they need to do. Justin Herbert is way too talented of a quarterback to put on such mediocre performances. Only 202 yards, 0 touchdowns. He didn't throw a pick, but they got to figure it out. They got weapons on at the receiver position. They have a talented quarterback. I don't know if it's the play calling or they need to draw up some plays or stuff to put their playmakers in better situations, but they have way too much talent on the offense side of the ball to not be scoring no points. Now, hats off to Belichick and the Patriots. They're good at taking your best players out of the game, and they always put on a good front on the defensive side of the ball. We all know the issues they have with Mac Jones, and they need to find him a quarterback. Even though Mac Jones didn't play, Bailey Zapp played, and he's putting on mediocre performances as well. So it's not really big of a difference there. But they definitely need to sound the alarms in Los Angeles, and the Chargers need to fix it and fix it fast.
Caleb, your thoughts, sir?
Yeah, I mean, I personally think it's time for Brandon Staley to go. But I don't think you can put all the blame on just the head coach. Um, the players, I feel like they got to step up a little bit too. They have a amazing quarterback, and I've seen like a lot of dumb mistakes. It's just that entire Chargers team. They have to fix something in the locker room, and I think it's gonna start. The first step is gonna be by getting Brandon Staley out of there. So I mean, it might they can do it if Brandon Staley does get fired, but it's gonna be a hard road.
It is going to be a hard road. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the Maurice Brown Comedy Show NFL Edition on Bog Radio with Antoine A.S. Stewart and nephew Caleb Lopes. We're missing Aaron Too Tall more today, and we will be joined by Sandy Mack, the brother of Khalil Mack, a little bit later on in the show. He's having some issues he's having to deal with at home right now. Hopefully he'll be able to join us. But in speaking with Sandy, he did mention to me that there's talk around the Charger complex that Mr. Staley will be gone. It's just a matter of when that's going to be announced. So that's just word from a close source like Khalil's brother. I think that may be pretty solid, and it probably should happen. I mean, you're looking at a team that's got a ton of talent. Yeah. I mean, and you can't put up better performances than what they've had up to this point of the year. I mean, they were a Super Bowl favorite to start the season, and they've just looked absolutely putrid. Justin Herbert, his talent is being absolutely wasted. Don't know what Staley's doing. And I'm not for anyone having food taken off their table, but the man's not doing his job. And I think it's inexcusable for the Chargers to be playing as poorly as they have been. So I think the question is reasonable to ask. As we say that, let's move on to the next headline, which is centered around the Pittsburgh Steelers. And they lose 24-10 to the Cardinals yesterday, an inferior team at home. And they just fired Matt Canada a couple of weeks ago. He was the problem. Fire Matt Canada, fire Matt Canada. They all, yelled it from the stadium stands, and they look worse now. Do the Steelers have more problems at the quarterback position beyond the firing of Matt Canada? Stu, your thoughts?
Most definitely. I think we also got to take in consideration that Mitch Trubisky got most of the plays against the Arizona. Kenny Pickett, he got a couple in. He only threw for 70 yards, and Mitch Trubisky threw for only 117 yards. So they having some quarterback issues. We see that they got to get that taken care of. And Kyler Murray didn't put on an awesome performance. He only threw 445 yards, but it was enough to get the win. There's definitely some problems going on in Pittsburgh. They need to figure it out. And like you said, maybe Matt Canada wasn't the answer, or because, when you fire a coordinator, you have to have that replacement ready to go, and a lot of times it's kind of better just to stick with the coordinator unless you're just on a situation where you're tanking and you're like, the season is done. Pittsburgh is sitting at 7-5, so they're still in the playoff hunt. So sometimes making those drastic changes when you do have a playoff potential team is not the best. It's kind of like figuring out what's going wrong and fixing those issues instead of replacing the whole coordinator, because now you got to figure out everything. It's one of those things, but hopefully, they're a well coached team. We know Mike Tomlin is one of the better coaches in the league, and hopefully they figure it out before it's too late.
Caleb, your thoughts?
I mean, yeah, definitely. Sometimes these teams they take it out on coordinators. They fire them, hoping that that's the problem, and usually it's not. And I think that might be what's happening uh, with the Steelers. So I don't think Kenny Pickett's the guy that they thought he was. Mitch Trubisky, he's a QB2. He's a backup, and yes, I do think they have a little pretty decent sized problem at the QB position right now. They're gonna have to figure something out if they want to be be at least an okay team, because right now they're really falling.
The Washington Commanders on Sunday, as we mentioned earlier, were embarrassed in the nation's capital, 45-15 by the Dolphins. Have the Commanders, Stu, officially mailed in their season?
It's one of the, I would say yes, not by choice though. It's not like, oh, we're going, in my personal opinion, they're not trying to tank. I know a lot of people may think they are. I think Ron Rivera is a man with pride. We know his pedigree and playing on the 85 Bears, and he has Super Bowls and stuff like that. And he's supposedly a defensive guru. But I think one of the biggest issues that's been quiet when it comes to the Commanders, and this is not a popular thing to say, is Eric Bieniemy. Eric Bieniemy is the assistant head coach, and he's the offensive coordinator. And the Commanders haven't been showing me much offense. Even a lot of people were like, "Yeah, man, start Sam Howell on the fantasy this week because we know the Dolphins are going to score a lot of points and it's going to be one of those type of games." But I started him and he didn't do much for me. He got some rushing touchdowns and that was about it. Sam Howell threw for 127 yards and an interception. The Commanders with this offensive guru, Eric Bieniemy, only scored 15 points on the Dolphins, and the Dolphins, they have a decent defense, but they're no world beaters. This is a team that you could probably put up more points than that. I think that's one of the biggest things that is not spoken about. We all know that Ron Rivera is most likely gone at the end of the season, and that Eric may be the person that they be handing the keys to the franchise to moving forward. But if I was in charge of the Commanders, I wouldn't be handing any keys to Eric. He hasn't shown me anything. He's just shown me that he tries to call plays for the Commanders like they're the Chiefs, and they're not. They're not built like the Chiefs. You're built to run the ball and not necessarily in shotgun every time. Have the quarterback get under center and give it to your horses you got back there and pound the rock up the middle and in between the tackles. And he's doing this finesse type of game, and that's not who the Commanders are. So that's definitely one of the most concerning things to me is they may have to go on a coach search at the end of the season and not have a coach in Eric to pass the torch to. I think that's one of the biggest things to me that's going to take place this off season.
Caleb, your thoughts?
Honestly, yeah, that's a pretty scary take, but it's very real. I mean, like you said, the Commanders, they haven't been doing anything on offense or on defense. They just let the Dolphins score 75 points, and they only responded with 15. And I mean, you can't really let that happen. No, you're in the NFL. You're supposed to. This is supposed to be a little bit of a competitive game, or at least I thought it was going to be, and that's not at all what happened. But the Commander season is over. We know that Ron Rivera is gonna be out, and I think they are gonna end up having to hand the keys to Eric Bieniemy, but I feel like they're gonna be on his tail if he has a bad season. They're gonna want to ship him out and find someone new once again. So it the Commanders are between a rock and a hard place right now, and they have to get it figured out.
We watched the Kansas City Chiefs, as you mentioned, the Chiefs, Stu, lose to the Green Bay Packers, an inferior team that's getting their groove on right now. But you didn't expect the Chiefs. No one expected the Chiefs to go to Lambeau Field and lose 27-19 was the final. Do the Chiefs have issues, or are the Packers becoming a playoff team, Stu?
I definitely think the Chiefs have some issues. I think that if the Chiefs could trade receivers with the Washington Commanders and get McLaurin and company, they would be delighted. They don't have the playmakers that they are accustomed to having. And Tyreek Hill, we all know they got the heck of one of the best tight end in the league there, but those receivers on the outside, they don't have the type of playmakers they're used to having. And even in the running game, um, not having that much success in the running game as well. I think that's definitely some cause for concern. They're playing it a little bit too close. We give the Chiefs a lot of props because we know that the Patrick Mahomes is the quarterback and he has the utmost respect. We know that he has another level that turns on, and Andy Reid included in the postseason. They just figure it out. Maybe and they hold things close to the vest and they pull out those tricks in the playoffs, run plays that you've never seen before and stuff like that. We know what they're capable of, but as of right now, I definitely am concerned about them. And I will say that Green Bay is emerging and becoming maybe a wild card team. They started off hot. They had their little down part in the season, and now they're getting back hot again. They're winning some close games, but they're getting it done. So I think it's a little bit of both. I'm concerned about the Chiefs, and I'm applauding Green Bay and their efforts moving forward.
Caleb, your thoughts? Do the Chiefs have issues, or are the Packers becoming a playoff team?
No, like Sue said, yeah, it's definitely both. The Packers, they've been real hot. Jordan Love has been playing good football, uh, and I mean, but then again, the Chiefs, they haven't been the Chiefs we're accustomed to seeing. Uh, I feel like we just it's just a bad receiving core not helping this amazing quarterback that they have in Patrick Mahomes. Uh, I feel like Travis Kelsey, he isn't doing much either, and they do have something to figure out, and it's been like this all season. They have been able to win quite a few games. Uh, they're still in that number one seed conversation, as they always are. They're the Chiefs. They have Patrick Mahomes, like you said. They can turn it on in the postseason, but if they are hoping to get to the Super Bowl and win another one, they are gonna have to figure it out on the receiving end. But
So, I'm
props
sorry.
to the
Go ahead,
Packers.
Caleb.
Yeah, go ahead. You can go.
No, I think it's a valid question. It could go, in both directions. You don't expect the Chiefs to play the way that they've been playing all year. I mean, they haven't looked like KC all year long. Did the 49ers show the NFL with their dominating win against the Eagles that when healthy, they're unstoppable? Stu.
Again, I'm gonna stay consistent on this answer. Any given Sunday, anybody can be beat. You got to bring it. It's not about how you look on paper. It's not about what you're capable of. You have to execute, and we've been doing that, and we've been good at doing that, and we're definitely driven. So I'm not going to say we're unstoppable, but I would say we are the toughest team to beat when 100% healthy. I will say that.
All right, Caleb, your thoughts?
Honestly, they're pretty close to it, but it's any given Sunday, anyone can be beat, like Sue said. It's you got to come out, play hard nosed football. But I mean, the 49ers, I feel like they're really good at keeping their part up on that. And how I'm seeing it, I don't think any team in the NFL can go head to head with them. What they did to the Eagles, they just dominated them, and to me that was really the Eagles were the only team that stood a chance again against them, and they showed that they're on a whole nother level. So right now they really are looking a bit unstoppable.
And our next headline and final one for this show, Robert Saleh, coach of the New York Jets. And it's been a terrible year for Robert Saleh. You feel really bad for him. But it begs the question, is his job on the line? Is Robert Saleh, Stu, in your opinion, on the hot seat in New York?
In my personal opinion, I would, if I was the owner, I wouldn't have him on the hot seat. Again, the biggest mistake he made, in my personal opinion, is not having a legitimate backup to Aaron Rodgers. Thinking about the worst case scenario,
Yeah.
if you'd had a legitimate backup, you may have been in better situations than they are now. But he was trying to groom that draft pick that he got. It turned out to not be what he thought he was. And I heard some rumors saying that he didn't want him. That wasn't his pick, but I don't know how true that is. But he didn't have a plan B. If Aaron Rodgers were to go out, if Brock Purdy were to go out, Aaron Rodgers did go out. If Patrick Mahomes, Brock Purdy, Jalen Hurts, you name them, goes out, just like as we're watching with the Cleveland Browns when, with their quarterback going out, you're not going to get the same play from the backups. You hope that the backup can win you a couple and make it, so that you're putting up a decent fight. But in this case, they don't have that. And I can't really fault him, for Aaron Rodgers getting hurt. I can fault him for not having in my opinion, a reasonable backup. But I think he should be good for next year. They're going to play this thing out. Aaron Rodgers, I believe, he signed a 2-year contract. So we're going to see what a healthy Aaron Rodgers does next year for them. But I think they definitely need to get some decent backups in the building.
Caleb, your thoughts, sir?
No, yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't think Robert Saleh should be on the hot seat at all. I don't think it's his fault. Yeah, like you can't blame the head coach for a player getting injured, and I think he's tried his best. He's I mean, like, you can't do much when you have Zach Wilson and Timmy Boyle as your quarterback. So
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I do feel bad for him. Like you said, Stu, it hasn't been a pretty season for him. So we just hope that next year. One thing I do want to say, I think they should reinforce that line so something like that doesn't happen again. But next year, I feel like it's going to be a much better year for them when they get uh, Aaron back.
Well, with that being said, guys, we are going to look at our Power Five after Week 13's results, which were pretty interesting. I'd love to get your commentary on this, but I look at the AFC and I look at what happened with the Kansas City Chiefs at Lambeau Field on Sunday night, and you start looking around that conference, and you start wondering who really is the big dog. But I've listed the Power Five as follows, with Baltimore remaining at number one, followed by Miami now in the 2 spot, Jags at 3, at Chiefs at 4, and the Houston Texans return to the big boy table at number 5. Stu, your thoughts?
I agree with that list 100%. From
Oh,
top
Stu,
to
let me stop you real quick. Stu, we're going to bring in Khalil Mack's brother, Sandy Mack, to the show. Sandy, what's going on, brother?
What's going on, my brother? How everybody doing?
What's up, bro?
Yeah, it's
What's
good,
up?
man. That's good.
Right.
So Sandy, we're looking at the AFC Power 5, And I've listed the top 5 in that conference with Baltimore at number 1, Miami at 2, Jags 3, Chiefs at number 4, and the Texans at the big boy table at number 5. What are your thoughts on that?
Man, you know what? That list sounds pretty accurate to me, man. Baltimore doing their thing right now. You know, Miami doing their thing too, but I feel like Baltimore defense might be a little bit more pressure.
Yeah.
So, I feel like everything kind of lined up pretty accurate for me. Especially Jaguars, you can't count them out. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, no. No. You
Jaguars balling.
100%. 100%.
Yeah, they ball. They look like they're hungry. So
they're looking very dangerous.
Oh, yeah.
And if you're a big dog in that conference, you don't want to see them in the first round.
Not at all.
Stu, your thoughts?
Yeah, most definitely. I agree, man. It definitely looks good from top to bottom. The Ravens seem like the more consistent team right now, and the Dolphins are hot right now. The Chiefs kind of a little choppy, and along with Jacksonville. So the Texans are definitely emerging as a team to be taken seriously. I definitely have to agree with that top to bottom.
Caleb, your thoughts, sir?
Definitely. The Ravens definitely at 1. And I'd have to agree with that all around. I like that you put the Texans on there. They've been playing real good football. But yeah.
Were you gonna add something, Sandy?
Yeah, so you can count out the Texans, man.
No, you can't count out the Texans. I will say at this point of the season, after what we saw on Sunday night with the Chiefs, Baltimore right now is looking like this is their opportunity.
Oh, yeah.
If Baltimore's ever going to get it done, the time is now.
Yeah.
Okay. 100%. You're sitting in the pole position. All right. You've been looking great all year, and now the Chiefs, who's really the team you don't want to see, they're limping. And I'm looking at Baltimore, and I'm going, wow, okay, this is the year to beat the Chiefs. And then you look at the Texans, and they're at the table, and I'm like, I think the conference is wide open right now.
Oh, yeah.
It's just wide open. I mean, I don't think anybody wants to see Houston, and I think the Texans could be any of those teams I have in the top 5. I don't think the Dolphins are real. They beat up. They're like the AFC's version of the Cowboys. They beat up on inferior teams. The Jags, to me, they don't look like they're legit. They've shown that when they play a big boy team, they get humiliated. So I don't know if I can trust Jacksonville. And the Chiefs, they are what they are right now. They're having some issues, and I don't know if they could get this one figured out. I mean, their receiving core is not that good, and I don't know. So Baltimore right now is looking like the team that may be the best team that can make the Super Bowl right now would be the Baltimore Ravens. But I'm going to switch to the NFC, and my Power 5 are as follows: the 49ers, number 1, followed by the Eagles, the Cowboys, Lions, and a new member to the big boy table. And I'm just going to have to, this is my team, Sandy, so I'll be a little bit biased, but I'm putting the Packers at the big boy table in the Power 5 in the NFC. Your thoughts?
Man, I think that's like perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, man. You cannot put the Packers there, though.
Okay.
The way they've been balling, man, they gotta sit at the big boy table for sure.
Yeah.
They've been winning a lot of big games, and they've been playing as a team and kind of overcoming a lot of different obstacles that everybody thought was going to be a challenge. They kind of shutting it down,
Yeah.
And it's like they're elevating as they progress throughout the season. So, it's scary to see what may happen with the Packers. You never know.
Well, no, you never know, and I've been real hesitant to give them any props because the last 2-3 weeks prior to the winning streak, they've looked so bad.
Yeah,
but they're starting to pick it up. Stu, your thoughts on the Power 5?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I agree top to bottom. I think that your Packers deserve to be in the talk. 49ers, Eagles, Cowboys. That's gonna be a big game next week with the Eagles going to Dallas. We're gonna see who really establishes that's at number 2 spot. I'm rooting for the Cowboys to go ahead and get it done so my Niners can get that solidify that number 1 spot. But yeah, man, I think you're pretty spot on with that, man. That looks like the top 5 teams in the
Okay.
NFC.
Yes, sir. Caleb, your thoughts?
Yeah, you gotta agree with that. The Packers, they've been playing some good football. I mean, I just don't like the Lions. They seem like frauds
Yeah.
a little bit, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know who else to put there. So you you got to stick with them for now.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, I'd have to agree.
Well, and I think really you make a great point about the Lions, but you can't deny them because they're 9-3.
That's
Like,
true.
you see what I'm saying? But when you look at their body of work, they don't really look like they're worthy of the record that they have.
Yeah.
And they're going to be exposed in postseason. I don't think there's any question about that. They will be exposed. The Cowboys will be exposed in postseason. Okay, they've made a habit of
Oh, yeah.
beating up on inferior teams, and whenever they get a big boy challenge, they get beat.
Yeah,
You
you're
know,
right.
and they don't rise to the occasion. So with that being said, now looking at the Power 5 of the entire NFL, I have them listed as follows: the 49ers, no doubt, number 1, followed by Baltimore, Philadelphia, Miami, and the Cowboys. Sandy, your thoughts?
Sound sound about right to me. I like those. Those are my top 5 for sure.
Yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
like with those teams you named, man, it's like sky's the limit right now, especially with the 49ers. They have a powerhouse, man. It's like once they get the clicking, man, it's like I don't really see nobody really stopping the 49ers if they play hard all the way out right now.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
That's how I feel about the 49ers. So it's gonna be kind of hard for Lamar them to get through the 49ers with the powerhouse that they have. You know, it's like it's both ways. It ain't just one way. It ain't gonna be close. They're gonna put their foot out. You know, and
Yeah.
I feel like it may be their year. The way it's looking, I don't really see a team overall with a powerhouse like the 49ers have.
Yeah.
When everybody healthy on their team, man, it seems like it's not even a challenge for them. You know.
It doesn't even seem like a challenge when they
Yeah.
have everybody and
Yeah.
they're healthy. They look unbeatable.
Yeah, and it's not even just the quarterback; it's the players around him, man. It's like he got guys like McCaffrey and Debo Samuels. They're gonna make plays. They playmakers.
Yeah.
And with that kind of system and Ayuk and all these guys around him, man, it's gonna be hard to beat them boys, man.
It's going to be very difficult to beat
Yeah,
the 49ers. There's no
yeah.
doubt
I
about
feel
that.
like they definitely in the hunt for the Super Bowl. I feel like maybe them, and it's a toss up between the other teams. It's like no one's consistent enough. I mean, I like the Eagles, but I don't really know if they really gonna make it through all the way out the playoffs. You know, it's gonna be tough for them. They're gonna have to play all the way through. But those kind of my top 2 that I could say right now. I don't really see the Chiefs having the team this year and the system with everybody kind of really figuring out how to play Travis Kelce and all that. You know, I feel like this may be a year they may fall back. You know,
Yeah.
but I feel like it's gonna be a pretty interesting season, man, to see what Lamar them can do. You know, but
Well, yeah.
it's gonna be a good one, man.
Well, if you really look at the Philadelphia Eagles, now they're sitting at 9-2. They've gutted out every win. Like they've not blown anybody out.
Yeah, at all.
And so to your point, I mean, yeah, the Eagles, but there are a lot of question marks that come with their gaudy record, and it makes you feel like, maybe there's another team or two in the NFC and postseason that on the right day could get Philly. So you're not 100% comfortable with them. The 49ers, unbelievable. Stu, your thoughts on this Power 5?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I agree with that top to bottom. I think, 49ers have pretty much proven that they are the big dogs on the block. The biggest thing that we had to worry about is our health. If we can stay healthy throughout the playoffs, I think that we might get a quest for six, as we say. But the Ravens are definitely a hard-nosed, good coach team. Lamar and them, they balling out there. Philly, like you guys said, they just been getting it done, been creeping by. One of the things I've been saying about them is since they were winning, I was like, well, when they finally get it clicking, they're going to be a tough team to beat. But who knows if they're going to ever get clicking? Miami, they're one of those teams. I'm not going to really call them a finesse team, but they're gonna run up the score, but when they get punched in the mouth, we're gonna see how they react. And the Cowboys, we all know what the big thing about Dak is. He's a world beater in the regular season, but in the postseason, he ain't nowhere to be found. So we'll see. I'm really curious to see what they do next week because this is their time to show that the Dallas Cowboys are for real and to go ahead and handle Philly for us. So I definitely agree with that top to bottom, and I'm curious to see how this thing plays out.
Caleb, your thoughts, sir?
Not yet. This list super accurate. I mean, the 49ers, the only thing about them I feel like that scares me a little bit is what happened on that 3-week losing skid. They didn't have a few of their pieces and they really couldn't play.
Yeah.
And that makes me think, do they can't handle injuries very well, and it's a physical game, and if someone else does get injured in the postseason or week 17, week 18, what will happen? Will they be able to recover, or will they freeze like they did? So that scares me a little bit. But other than that, they have one, definitely the best team in the NFL and are number one right now. The Ravens and the Eagles. I feel like they're pretty close behind. But and then like you said, Stu, the Dolphins and the Cowboys. They can run up the score on some of the bad teams, but whenever there's another uh, big dog, they get scared and go back onto the porch.
Well, it's just like that bully in school when you were growing up. You know what I mean? There were bullies, and then there was like weak bullies. So they would always beat up on the little kids until the real big dog showed up. Then they go get in the corner, and that's kind of how the Dolphins and the Cowboys are to me. I mean, they have no problem whipping up on inferior teams, but they don't seem to show up. But I'm going to say this about the 49ers, and I'm just going to be 100 on this. And I hope I'm not trying to put out any bad, mojo on the 49ers. But I'm going to tell you right now, they have to have everybody. And the NFL is a tough game. You're not granted to have everybody every Sunday, but somebody gonna get the clock clean, and they're gonna have to sit out a game or two, or they might even be knocked out for the rest of the year. And the way the 49ers play, they're always losing somebody to injury. They're not full, they don't have a full complement from Sunday to Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not how you want to go into the postseason. And I just don't think they're going to be healthy. They're going to lose somebody, dude. They're going to lose somebody, if not a couple of people, which would make them immediately vulnerable.
Yeah.
And so, but that's just kind of my gut feeling, the way things go for them. And Kyle Shanahan, he doesn't have a lot of good luck, man. I don't know what it is about Kyle Shanahan, but it just goes south for him out of nowhere all the time. So we'll see what happens. I'll just say this: if they have everybody, nobody's beating them. No, nobody's beating if the 49ers have their people.
Yeah.
Nobody's beating them.
I don't see nobody beating them either.
Yeah, but I mean that team is a machine. I'm telling you right now, I've never seen anything like that. They look like the 49ers when Montana played, and they had Bill Walsh and Steve Young and Jerry Rice and Tom Rathman and all. I mean, those guys, they look like that. It's like, man, oh man. So, Stu, that's how I'm going to call that one, man. We're going to look, guys, we're going to have to dip out of here. Sandy, I appreciate you joining the show. Sandy Mack, ladies and gentlemen, the brother.
Thank you for having me, man. Appreciate it.
Hey, man, anytime. We would have you we want you to keep coming back, Sandy. I hope this is not the last time,
man.
bro.
Yeah, I'll check in, man. Just let me know.
Absolutely. Every Thursday morning right here on Bog Radio, you can listen to the Maurice Brown Comedy Show, NFL Edition, in association with 24 Flicks, with Antoine A.S. Stewart, Nephew Caleb Lopes, and Aaron Too Tall Moore, who could not be with us here today, but he's usually with us. But we're going to have to dip out on that note. Great show. And usually we talk about the games that are coming up next week. The game to watch next week definitely is Dallas and Philadelphia.
Oh, yeah.
And I believe that one's going to be in Dallas. So if there was ever a time for Dallas to show who they are, this is it.
Oh, yeah.
This is it. They lose this one, I don't want to hear another word from Cowboy Nation.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear another word from Cowboy Nation. If they lose this one, I don't want to hear it. And so we'll see what. But do I think the Cowboys have a shot? I think they definitely have a shot. They definitely have a shot. Their defense concerns me because they're supposed to be this great defense, and the Seahawks, they put up some big numbers, and the Seahawks are average.
Yeah.
So I'm more concerned about Dallas's defense than I am about Dak Prescott. But we're going to leave it right there, guys. We're going to get out of here. But I do thank you, Sandy, for joining us. And I definitely hope this is not the last time.
Yes,
In
sir.
the meantime,
yes, sir.
may the peace of Jesus Christ, guys, be with you or your families. God bless you.
Yes, sir. God bless.
God bless you.